Night at the Movies. Hello once again everyone and welcome back. I am your host Natty and this is Nat at the Movies, the series where I take a look at a random movie and give my thoughts on it. This week around we have a bit of a different one for you. This week around I got bored and I decided to take a look randomly around online. And I found out Doctor Who had non-canonical films made for it in the 60s. One of those is the film we will be taking a look at today, that being Doctor Who and the Daleks. Let's dive on in. So what were these Doctor Who movies made in the 60s? Well, they were films made due to the popularity of the Daleks back in the day. They weren't made for the BBC for one. That's one of the interesting parts of it. Terry Nation owned the rights to the Daleks, and Amicus bought an option to produce 3 films from him. The films were not canon, and pretty much only were made to serve the popularity of the Daleks at the time. They didn't have the actual TV show's Doctor in the role either. They instead had Peter Cushing as the Doctor. Might I say, my favorite Doctor. Don't at me. Peter was an absolute tour de force in his movies. They couldn't last a moment without his brilliant leadership, which you'll come to see is a fatal error on my part here in a moment. Okay, enough playing around. How about the movie itself? Well, the movie is filled with tons of filler. Go figure. But for what it does deliver, it goes like this. The Doctor, who is not a Time Lord and is just a scientist who works in a laboratory, whose proudest invention is the TARDIS, is with his 2 grandchildren, Barbara and Susan, and is joined by Barbara's soon-announced love interest of the film, Ian. They are lured to the TARDIS and are accidentally sent off to an alien planet. Shtick occurs and before long, bada bing, bada boom, we have Daleks. The Daleks in this film talk painfully slow, and it takes up so much of the movie when they talk and have their exposition scenes. The Daleks at first seem to actually want some help, but it turns out nope, villains. Huge twist, I know. Amazing. M. Night is turning in his grave. I will give them a point to making the Daleks bigger and thus more scary. But otherwise, the Daleks are evil, no change there. The focus of the movie is certainly the Daleks. These are the Dalek movies more so than Doctor Who movies in my mind. The Doctor is even called Doctor Who. That's his name in this. But let's not have a canonical rant here about it, or else we'll be here all day long. And besides, this isn't a canon film anyway. The Daleks have Susan do stuff for them, and it's while she is out to find the stuff they requested that she finds the secondary heroes of the film, the David Bowie impersonators. The Thaws. They are humans but evolved over generations. Here's a clever point this movie gets as well. The idea that humans and Daleks are both trapped in by the destruction that they caused themselves is a very neat idea. The Thaws are so appalled by the results of the war that they vow to never war again. Of course, by the point we find that out is when the Doctor and his companions are to escape. This, however, is where the movie drops off. Well, more than already done. He has the chance to end it there, go back to his timeline and be done with this movie. Movie over. But of course he goes back because he can't just let the Thaws be peaceful. He wants them to fight the Daleks for him, and then he is rather rude in how he convinces the Thaws to war with the Daleks. Also wish to point out, but it was he who got them all in the original mess in the first place. He is a very flawed and stupid Doctor in this film. Sure, the Doctor can have flaws, and should have flaws, but he shouldn't be this mindlessly stupid. His errors are what caused his own companions to nearly die to the Daleks, no less. But yes, back to my point. He convinces the Thaw to fight the Daleks. Woohoo! Unconsensual being forced into a war that people didn't want to be a part of because some higher authority told them to. Wait a minute. This goes swimmingly, as you may imagine. The Daleks are easy to defeat and blow themselves up. The special effects don't show how, but trust me, they're all dead now, certainly. No more Daleks, never again. Nope, there can never be another conclusion. What were my overall thoughts of the film? Well, I suppose it's a great time to mention, but these films were not the highest quality. Definitely not by today's standards. I am not an aficionado on British sci-fi at the time, but I don't believe it was wowing anyone then either. The second film I shall get to in time, but for now my thoughts on this film were this one was slightly better put together at least, even though I saw the second one before this. The sets were cheap, the storyline non-existent, and wrapped itself up halfway through the film before cutting back to the limpest of excuses to fight a plot that came out of nowhere and wasn't developed through any of the rest of the film other than a throwaway few lines. If it had some rewrites and a concerted effort rather than a cash grab, I feel it could work. There are some moments of horror in the production of the film, but it was largely what seemed to be a mess of low budget. It also had some good ideas that never really got to get anywhere. The TARDIS interior was literally just wires and random levers just glued onto any surface they could find. Oh, how I missed the goofiest looking interiors of the classic Who over this. There were too many scenes that just dragged out and were obvious filler. The movie is a little over 1 hour, nearly an hour and a half, but it feels like forever. And it was really trying to push itself to the time it got with its filler. So many scenes in its entirety could have just been cut out. So much exposition was made by the Daleks talking in the most drawn out way possible and not by actually doing something. Oh, it's a mess. But it's a lovable mess. You may also wonder why I seem so short in explaining what goes on, but there literally is nothing more to note. It's mainly filler for a glorified two-parter Classic Who episode stitched together with the weakest of plot elements. Do watch, however, if you love a good film to riff at or to watch on a bad movie night. I kind of have a soft spot for Cushing's Doctor based on the two appearances, but they could have used much better scripts. He did royally screw up in this movie, almost making two of his companions die in the process. But yes, overall, I give it a, it's bad, you know it's bad, but watch it and get a kick out of its badness. It ranks up there for me. The movie can be boring at times, but it can be fun to riff on. And you know I love me some good riffing. Speaking of, before we sign off, I want to say give the version Riff Tracks did a chance. It's rather entertaining. They did both of the Doctor Who movies. You would enjoy them. But yes, without further ado, this has been Natty. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves with this movie's nonsense and my constant blabbering about it. Do take care and let me know what you think below. Though, for now, farewell. I simply must be off now. My companion is waiting.